Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. It's time for the third and final part of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and knock this out. Alright, first question. Hi Jason, Alan Thrall says a good way for me to prevent muscle loss when I'm out of the gym for a couple of weeks is to eat a lot and gain 20 pounds of body mass. Then I probably would be stronger than before. Do you agree with Alan? I don't know if Alan actually said this or if he said it kind of tongue-in-cheek. The best way, or will this actually work? The best way, no, because you're going to gain 20 pounds of mostly fat. It'd be a lot of water too, actually. You won't even be able to gain 20 pounds of tissue weight in 2 weeks. Can't be done. There'll be a lot of water weight. If you took 2 weeks off of the gym and you ate enough to gain 20 pounds, would you gain strength? Yeah, you actually would. You would overcompensate. All your recovery would go up. You would gain lean body mass from the actual food intake. All right, and people need to understand that when fat people overeat, they gain muscle sitting on the couch. All right, just like people who take anabolics and sit on the couch gain muscle. Both proven, documented scientific facts, not subject to debate, because the evidence is pretty hard to refute at this point. It just is what it is. But you're going to gain a lot of fat. So I don't know if maybe Alan was just kind of messing with you, telling you this would actually work, but you know, you are going to gain quite a bit of fat. Probably not worth it. So to answer the question, will it work? Of course. But be prepared for the consequences if you choose to do that. Probably not ideal for overall body composition. All right, next question. Hi, what do you think about fasting for longer periods of time on non-training days? My rat is a powerlifter and he wants to go down to 3 to 4 kilograms for a meet. Is there any proof that cutting half a kilogram per week is better or more muscle saving than just fasting for 4 or 5 days? For example, 124-hour fast every Sunday. My rat's reasoning is that if you have enough fat for fuel from the body fat and you provide the body with BCAA, sip on water with BCAA throughout the day, there would be no reason for the body to break down a lot of muscles. If it's all calories in versus out, does it really matter which he does? All right, brother, if you're losing half a kilogram a week, you're probably going to lose a little bit of muscle and strength. You just have to accept that. As far as the fasting in goes, no, fasting is not shown in any study ever, any conclusive study, to be superior for fat loss or muscle retention. There's no real difference. The problem you're going to have is that if you're trying to gain muscle and strength, you need to be aware that the fasted windows, without any sort of exogenous substances in the mix, are going to be minimal growth windows, meaning you trained yesterday, right? Part of your growing is occurring during the next day. So if you're fasted too much, too long of fasting, is going to interfere with your previous workouts as far as progressing on them. Honestly, as far as a weight loss strategy though, it's just as good as any other. It's still calories in, calories out, right? And as far as the BCAAs, they're a waste of money. We shouldn't be asking this question. We're coming up on 2018. There was an enormous meta-analysis done finally in 2017 that concluded that BCAAs taken by themselves, meaning is not part of an already existing protein matrix, or if you took whey protein and added another 10 grams of branched chain aminos to it, it would have no benefit, nothing. Branched chain aminos added on their own do nothing. They're only effective when combined in the proper ratios with other essential amino acids. They do not preserve muscle. They do not help with recovery. They do not help build muscle. This is now accepted. We have a meta-analysis on it. So anyone selling BCAAs or pushing them is a con man, and they are screwing you. They're lying to you. They're conning you. Again, back to the other point, it's not going to make any difference on your body composition. Intermittent fasting is a tool to control calories and appetite. That's it. That's the entirety of its magic. It has no benefits outside of that we can determine at this time as far as body composition goes. So if you find it a valuable tool for cutting weight through caloric control, then use it. If you don't, then don't use it. It doesn't have any magical fat burning properties. All right, next question. And I'm just going to condense this down to one question because I had 3 very similar questions in there that I just scanned over. So this kind of covers all of them at once. And it's, hey Jason, does good grip strength equal good forearm development? I'm doing everything strapless, including heavy cheatshrugs. Will I get maximum forearm development from that? Thanks. Yeah, a big chunk of your forearm development comes from your grip strength, so throwing away straps is automatically going to help you build your forearms. However, it's not necessarily going to build the entire forearm. Things like your radial brachialis and some of that could probably use extra work, so some of that's going to depend on how much volume you're doing with your overhand grip pulling. Like if you're doing a lot of rows overhand grip, anything to where the elbow bends. This won't apply to deadlifts, but you've got to be doing pulling with a pronated grip to fully develop that area. And if you're not doing enough volume of pulling to do that, you could consider some reverse curls or some hammer curls to bring your forearms up. So again, people are always like, Jason, man, oh, you always recommend nothing but compounds. Yeah, I think compounds for a lot of people can complete everything. Isolation work isn't necessary for every person. It's just not. And I do mean that. Not everyone has to do isolation work of any type. Now, in this case, if the guy's worried about his forearms lagging, and he's not getting those upper areas, the top of his forearm, developed quite as much as he wants, and he's not doing a lot of overhand pulling, that's where an isolation movement might come in handy. So, knock it out, brother, if that's what you need to do. So again, reverse grip curls and hammer curls will complete whatever you're not getting there. But, I mean, if you're doing 10, 15 sets of overhand grip rowing or pull-ups every week, the extra isolation work's probably not going to do anything for you. All right, next question. Does working out while taking cortisone harm you? What would be the precautions to take in order to lift without harming your gains? I'd like to know your thoughts on that because it seems you've never covered that in the past. Thanks. Oh man, cortisone, when you are being prescribed cortisone by your doctor, yes, there are potential problems with your training. Obviously, hopefully you're not on a long-term cortisone regimen. It's hopefully short-term for whatever temporary inflammation you have going on. You're going to find it hard to progress at all. Cortisone is going to make you tired. It's going to make you lethargic. It is going to interfere with your recovery to some extent. You are not going to be able to train as hard or recover from it as easily. All right, you just have to accept that. So you need to come in and train the way that you can within your limits and try to hold on to what you have while you're being prescribed this. All right, and I know that sucks, and I know you're going, man, that sucks, but you clearly have some injury or medical issue that's requiring it, and your health comes first. All right, your health comes before your gains. Number two, even if you could train harder, what you need to be aware of is my understanding is that on cortisone, and I could be wrong, if I recall correctly, it predisposes you to higher rate of connective tissue rupturing. That while you're on it, it seems to weaken connective tissue to some extent, particularly if you're on it for any significant length of time. So you need to be careful with that also. So you not only need to not push yourself to your limits, you need to be very careful with your form. Loose form, cheat reps, things like that are going to have no place when you're on cortisone because it already predisposes you to connective tissue tears. And that is the very, very last thing you want when you already have another injury or health issue that you're having to deal with. Getting a connective tissue tear is going to be the last thing that you want to have happen. So be very aware of that. All right, next question. Hey Jason, I also live in the best gosh darn state, Texas. Is barbecue food healthy for you? I normally eat half a cup of brown rice raw, 8 ounces of lean brisket, and a sausage link all dipped in barbecue sauce. Is this going to give me cancer and be detrimental to my health? All right, brother. Fellow Texan there, I thought that was one of those Texas bragging things. I just realized your half cup, you meant the measurement was raw, not that you eat your brown rice raw, because you're like, I'm a Texan, damn it. I eat rattlesnake and completely raw, dry brown rice, because that's how we are. All right, brother. You know what? Here's what it's going to come down to. I think barbecue in moderation is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Are you eating a pound of barbecued meat every day? That's probably not a good idea, but 8 ounces of brisket, as long as it's fairly lean and you keep your saturated fat in check. Ideally, you need to keep saturated fat for a healthy male under about 30 grams a day. If you keep your total saturated fat under 30 grams a day, a bit of red meat's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Again, things in moderation. If your cardiovascular health is good, you're eating plenty of green vegetables, your resistance training, again, you're going to offset potential health risks from a little bit of red meat. All right, it's not the end of the world. Again, it's going to depend on really total saturated fat intake. People get these ideas that because eating certain foods in excess is bad for you, that any intake is, and that's just simply not true. Not true at all. So just track your total saturated fat. You'll be fine. And definitely cook that brown rice, brother. I know it's tougher and more Texans like to go ahead and just gulp it down raw, but probably not ideal for your digestion. All right, next question and last question of the week. I don't like deadlifting. Can I substitute it with the farmer's walk? I don't compete. I just need a good back mass builder. You don't like deadlifting? Oh, man, nothing can replace the deadlift. All right, maybe some power cleans. If that's what you want to do, some cleaning instead, you could do that. As far as farmer's walks go, farmer's walks are not a great mass builder. Farmer's walks are general physical preparedness, and they're kind of, in some cases, GPP that carries over to certain things pretty well. But you're not going to build a massive back off of farmer's walks. Now, are farmer's walks or farmer's carries good for building your grip strength? You bet. Are they good for building the traps? Yeah, if you don't have enough workload in your normal training for your traps, you'll probably see a little bit of trap growth by doing a lot of farmer's walks. Not going to be amazing, but it will be there. They do stimulate them. They're good core exercise. They're good conditioning work. However, as far as building your back goes, no. Farmer's walks are not going to compete with deadlifts. They're not even going to compete with barbell rows for building your back. Ultimately, I think if you don't want to deadlift, you probably need to be doing some sort of power cleans, maybe some pin leg rows, things like that, just for overall development and full body strength and using your back and engaging it correctly when you're doing full body movements. And if you want to do farmer's walks as a good form of general physical preparedness, I think they're fantastic. Any sort of loaded carry is a fantastic form of GPP, but it's not going to replace a deadlift for strength and size. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.